Hello, my name is Cynthia Richardson. I serve as the Education Chair for the Salem-Keizer NAACP, and I am the Director of Student Equity, Access, and Advancement for Salem-Keizer Public Schools. Welcome to our 2020 Juneteenth virtual celebration. It's our pleasure to bring this program to you today. Immediately following me, we will have Mr. Benny Williams, the NAACP President, Pastor Marilyn Williams, who will share the purpose of Juneteenth. And yes, we will have Lift Every Voice and Sing by a group of young ladies, the African American Black National Anthem. Thank you for joining us. And thank Aaron Harada for producing this production. And thank every person that submitted a video so that this program could be the success that it is. Thank you.
Hi, this is Benny Williams, the president of the Salem-Keizer NAACP. Welcome to our 12th annual Juneteenth celebration. Welcome to our very first virtual Juneteenth celebration. COVID-19 is alive and well and has precipitated this offering of our event. For the next hour, enjoy the history and the presentations of Juneteenth by our kids and students of the Salem-Keizer School District. I want to give a thank you to Superintendent Christy Perry for her support, and I want to give a very big thank you to all of the students participating. Enjoy.
Good morning. I'm Pastor Marilyn Williams of the NAACP and the chairman of the Juneteenth celebration. And today I want to talk to you about Juneteenth and why we celebrate Juneteenth. We celebrate Juneteenth because of chattel slavery. We were actually freed from that. The Emancipation Proclamation was signed on January 1st, 1863, and it was signed by President Abraham Lincoln, and it became official law of the land. The Civil War between the Confederate Army and the Union Army was still going on. The Emancipation Proclamation was actually written to free the slaves in the southern states who were under the Confederate law. The signing of the Emancipation Proclamation also made it easier for black African slaves to come over to the Union and to fight during the war. The impact of the Emancipation Proclamation had very little effect on the state of Texas due to the fact that they were so far away and they had seceded from the main Union of the United States. Many of the plantation owners knew that the Emancipation Proclamation was coming, and so they decided to move and take their slaves with them to Texas in hopes that the Confederate Army would win and that they would keep things the same, that slavery would continue. The Civil War did not end until April 9th, 1865. And that was with the surrender of General Robert E. Lee and the Confederate Army. For 2.5 years, you had over 250,000 black people still enslaved, not knowing that they had been freed. So Major General Gordon Granger came into Galveston, Texas with 18,000 soldiers, many of them African Americans, to Galveston, Texas. When General Granger came to Galveston, Texas, he read what we call the General Order Number 3, and he read it from a home on its front balcony. He said, "The people of Texas are informed that in accordance with the proclamation from the Executive of the United States, all slaves are free. This involves an absolute equality of rights and rights of property between former masters and slaves, and the connections heretofore existing between them becomes that between employer and hired laborer. Well, that news brought a lot of mixed emotions, from anger to sadness, from sadness to elation to jubilee to disbelief to shock. Many of the slaves, rather than taking any chances, left right away after hearing what General Gordon had to say, and that was called the scattered. One former slave by the name of Felix Haywood shared, "The end of the war, it come just like that, like you snap your finger. Hallelujah broke out. Soldiers all of a sudden was everywhere, coming in bunches, crossing, walking, and riding. Everyone was singing. We all walked on golden clouds. Everybody went wild. We were free. Just like that, we were free." Now, Susan Merritt, a former slave, had her story to share. Lots of Negroes were killed after freedom, bushwhacked, shot down while they were trying to get away. You could see lots of Negroes hanging from the trees in Sabine Bottom right after freedom. Not all slaves were freed right away. Some were kept in bondage until the next harvest, and some as long as 6 years. The celebration continues today. A group of former slaves raised $800 to purchase 10 acres of land and to create the Emancipation Park in Houston, Texas, and that took place in the 1870s. The park would become a place for former slaves and their descendants to host and celebrate Juneteenth in the present and the future. In 1980, Emancipation Day in Texas became a legal state holiday. Today, 46 states celebrate June 19th. There are 4 states who doesn't celebrate Juneteenth, and that is Hawaii, North Dakota, South Dakota, and Montana. In the state of Virginia, Juneteenth is now a paid holiday. Today, there are organizations, senators, House representatives, governors, people of all make and races are petitioning to celebrate and have Juneteenth to become a national holiday, a day that chattel slavery ended in America on June 19, 1865 in Galveston, Texas. And the vocabulary words for the day is, what is chattel slavery? It's person or persons that are owned for life. They're slaves for life, and when they have children, their children become slaves. That ended in 1865. Sabine Bottom is an actual place. It's located right outside Tyler, Texas, and it's a hardwood grove forest that has a lot of vegetation, and it is state managed by the state of Texas. Scattered means to move or disperse in many areas. Well, that's all for Juneteenth. You have a great Juneteenth day.
Lift every voice and sing till earth and heaven ring. Ring with the harmonies of liberty. Let our rejoicing rise high as the listening skies. Let it resound loud as the rolling sea. Sing a song full of the faith that the dark past has taught us. Sing a song full of the hope that the presence has brought us. Facing the rising sun of a new day begun. Let us march on till victory
What does Juneteenth mean? Juneteenth is a day of celebration, but also a time of somber remembrance. We celebrate the fact that all slaves, in compliance to federal law, were set free. But we remember the fact that the oppressors of Black African slaves continued on for years after they were declared free. As a descendant of African slaves, the heartfelt struggle and disappointment and the consistent failures by our government to support, protect, and defend the vulnerable people in our community is exhausting. So when I celebrate Juneteenth, I don't just celebrate a day where individuals were liberated. I use this time to think and contemplate on what I can do to hasten justice and encourage the wheels of justice in our system to be better and to improve. As a man of faith, it's my prayer that one day every tear from a Black mother's eye will be wiped away. Every single broken-hearted father who has to be strong for their children can rest. And every child, every boy, and every girl will know that it's not freedom that is given by the government. It is not justice that is provided by any particular system, but it is by the way we treat others and the way that we carry ourselves is our destiny determined. And as a man of faith, I'm resolute that one day the essence of all of our beings, the giver of the image of God, will return and knock those in high places down and restore justice, mercy, and the greatest of all commandments, love, to the nations. So Juneteenth is for me a day of promise. Not a promise given by any government, but the anticipation of a promise that was given 2,000 years ago by the author of love.
Greetings, I'm Senator Jeff Merkley. For 155 years, Juneteenth has been a special day for our nation. It's a commemoration of the official end of slavery in America, as well as a day to celebrate Black history, Black culture, and the countless contributions made by Black Americans to our nation. But this year's Juneteenth celebration is unique. Not only does it come in the midst of a deadly global health crisis, it also comes as Americans all across our land continue taking to the streets to demand justice, opportunity, and equality for everyone in the Black community. It's 155 years after slavery ended. But the legacy of slavery is systemic racism, and it continues to shape every aspect of life in America and deny Black communities their true freedom and equality. If there was true freedom and equality, folks wouldn't have to be taken to the streets to convince others that Black lives matter. Everyone would know that in their hearts. Black Americans wouldn't be dying from COVID-19 at 3 times the rate as white Americans. A white woman wouldn't threaten a Black man with a 911 call. And Black Americans wouldn't fear that a police officer is more likely to hurt them than to help them. George Floyd, Breonna Taylor, Ahmaud Arbery, Eric Garner, Tamir Rice, Trayvon Martin, Rayshard Brooks, and so many others whose lives were needlessly and violently ended would still be with us today. But when I see all those standing up this Juneteenth to say enough is enough, demanding justice, demanding accountability, demanding equality, not just in policing, but in every aspect of society, I am filled with hope and optimism. I believe that together, we're going to be able to turn this incredible energy and resolve that we see right now into concrete action and meaningful change in our state and in our country. But that change will only come if we keep this energy up, keep this movement going well beyond Juneteenth. If we stand together in the fight for racial justice and act as agents of change.
What is Black Power?
The ability to think for myself. The capacity to love myself. The audacity to be myself.
What is Black Liberation?
Stand up, never give up, in God we trust.
What is Black Excellence?
Use my mind to stay free.
What is Black Love?
I matter, you matter, Black lives matter.
I see now. I see them. I see their pain. I see. I was ignorant. I was innocent. I was inexcusable. I was horrible. I could not see. I was not helpful. I was not there for them. But now I see, I hear, I feel their pain. I can help. I can fight. I can show that it doesn't matter if you are different from me. For you are human. I am human. We are all human. When you forget, you become inhuman, inexcusable, and ignorant. I will learn, write, fight, be strong for others and the ones who cannot. We can, we see, we will be human. We are unique, we are beautiful, we are happy, we are sad. We, the people, are people.
Hey, I'm living my life like usual. Yeah. See? Why? I'm living the life like my own G game. I don't know how to react to buying. I'm living the life like my best friend. Homie living in life. You don't know how I started in the first place. What you call it in my life? I'm dropping low to the run, feeling G.O.V. Playing the game is the only one I ever play. Living the life like my own G. Living the life like my own G. Living a life that you never heard of. Living a life I just want to tell you why. Hey, can't you understand? One time. I just wanna play my game. Yeah, same mode. Playing the game is my life, but that time go by, but the beat about the boom. Hey, you know why? Jumping to the 80s, down to the 80s. Hey, don't you know? No. Living a life, there's a lot I know. You don't know how I started in the first place. Hey, jump into my life, jumping in my vibe. Now you don't know. Living a life like my best life. Living a life that you never heard of. Bling bling. God in my life, and I'm playing the game. I got these teachers all around me to play. They're bringing me up. I'm a 12th grader from the team. You don't know how I started in the first place. Started the game that you never heard of. Playing the game, I just want to tell you how much I care for you now. And playing the game is all let's say fun. Take first top fine time mine. Hey, I got people on my side. God's in my life tonight. I ain't trying to push you with no religion. I'm just trying to speak my rights. Playing the game is.
Am I worth it? Am I worth your time to change when you can change someone else? Am I that important to be worried about, to be cared about? Do my words and dreams mean something? Are they important to you or anybody else? Because you don't feel like it. Am I worth the pain, stress I give y'all? My mom says I'm not worth it. She left me with sadness, depression, anger, and fear. She left me so I can never see her again until the government tells me when to. She says she loves me. Am I worth your love? You sure don't prove it. Am I worth it? The church says I'm worth it. They say that God says I'm worth it. I believed in you, Lord. When I needed you, where was you? Where was your words that say I'm worth it? You left me in tears, fear, and no love. You took what was most precious to me. Now tell me, is my life worth it? Is my life worth saving? Am I worth it?
Hi everyone, it's Jasmine. Please feel free to join Jasmine's Journey, JAZZMENS, YouTube and other social media sites. It's time that we rise up as a community and as a church, and that we come together, because we cannot let the enemy, especially in this time, drive us apart, so that the next generations and the future generations have the ability to have a good future, do what they want to, become a doctor without being judged for the color of their skin, or the way they talk, or the way they eat, or the way they look. So it's time that we rise up. I will be singing Rise Up by Andrea Day. God bless, and I hope you enjoy. You're broken down and tired of living life on the merry-go-round, and you can't find the fighter, but I see it in you, so we gon' walk it out and move mountains. We gon' walk it out and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise and I'll rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again. For you, when the silence isn't quiet and it feels like it's getting hard to breathe, and I know you feel like dying, but I promise that we will take the world to its feet and move mountains. Bring it to its feet and move mountains. And I'll rise up, I'll rise like the day. I'll rise up, I'll rise unafraid. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000 times again. And I'll rise up high like the waves. I'll rise up in spite of the ache. I'll rise up and I'll do it 1,000
afraid to walk the streets because it might end in beats. How many times did he say I can't breathe and have us question, what if we didn't see? Enough is enough, we are all equal. Why are we going through a hard time? Why can't we fight together? Color should never be a problem. If we stick together, we can fight it. That's why I'm here to say we are done dying. We are done dying. I'm sure Alexa, Eric, George, and others were told that they were loved. Until one day, just because the color of the skin, they were shoved. We are going through a hard time. Why can't we fight together? Color should never be a problem. If we stick together, we can fight it. That's why we say we are done dying. We are done dying. Why can't we end this all? Why do we have to take a life? Because something we can't change. Why do we have to take a life for something that they should be proud of? Why can't we be done dying? Yeah. I'm lost. Is it really even my fault? I don't think that it's supposed to be hard. If it's really meant to be, so give me a sign. Is he always gonna be mine? Have I given it enough of my time? You can now blame if it's on me. Nothing sweet, sweet fate I've heard about all I can say. You're my living in the bed that I made. Is he yours? I wonder, sweet, sweet babe. Oh, if it's really out of my hands, can you forgive all of my sins? Have mercy on me. Why me? If you walked a mile using my fate, you would go a little easy on me. You know where I'm coming from, yeah. How come when I'm looking at everyone, we get away with having a little fun? I'm paying these dues when they don't mean nothing. Sweet, sweet fate I've heard about all I can take. You're my living in the path that I make. Is it yours? I wonder, sweet, sweet fate. Oh, if it's really out of my hands, can you forgive all of my sins? Have mercy on me.
My name is Lorena. I'm in 6th grade, and today I'm going to be singing and playing my ukulele to the song I Don't Know My Name by Grace Vanderbilt. I don't know my name. I don't play by the rules of the game. So you say I'm just trying, just trying. So I heard you are my sister's friend. You get along quite nicely. You asked me why I cut my hair and changed myself completely. I don't know my name. I don't play by the rules again. So you say I'm just trying, just trying. I went from the land to pop you.